welcome to episode 2 of Nini and Liv. We're ending our second week of our little diet and exercise and our attempt at getting better, healthier lives. So basically we're just going to kind of give you a rundown of how our week went and talk with Olivia about some interesting facts. Olivia, how was your week?
My week was just kind of pretty much work filled and hectic on that part, but other than that, I would say pretty decent. Thanks for asking.
You're welcome.
So our fun fact for the week, well, at least fun for me because I like to talk about statistics. According to the CDC, coronary heart disease is the most significant type of heart disease, killing over 370,000 people annually. And then as well, every year about 735,000 Americans have a heart attack. Of these, 525,000 are a first heart attack, and then 210,000 happen to be a second or a third heart attack.
So if you have one, does that mean you're probably the great odds you're going to get a second one, essentially?
Correct, more likely. So it's kind of almost like a warning sign. If you don't change something, you will have it again. And then on top of that, diabetes is the 7th leading cause of death in the United States. So diabetes is the number one case of kidney failure, lower limb amputations, adult blindness, and in about 20 years, the numbers of adults being diagnosed have actually more than doubled.
Wow.
So this is very important, especially just in general for everybody. This shows that we're not being compliant with our diets. We're not being healthy as a society. So I think that's one of the main reasons why I was so excited to start trying to do this podcast, just to try to help promote better eating.
So those statistics are basically just like people eating in the last 20 years, just like super terribly, essentially.
Correct. Like all these things can be prevented from diet. So if you're doing diet and exercise, you won't get diabetes. If you're doing diet and exercise, you won't develop a heart attack or, end up developing a coronary artery disease and then having a heart attack. Mm-hmm. All this can be prevented.
That's one thing with me is like, I've always had super high blood pressure, even before I had 5 kids. So with this, what we're doing, like, I really want to like lower my blood pressure, hopefully. And it seems to have been a little bit better more recently. So I think it's working, but hopefully I can prevent this.
Actually, one of the diets that is like the American approved diet is the DASH diet. So pretty much in that it's low sodium. Okay, so you know how like our packaged ramen, those cup of noodles, and we love them so much. They're so bad. It's like a heart attack in a cup because there's so much sodium, and people don't realize you're really only supposed to have like less than 1/4 of a teaspoon a day. That's your daily allotment, and we're spending so much time putting all this on our food that we don't realize. Oh, well, we normally get over our normal daily amount anyways, just for what's already in the food. So we shouldn't really be adding more.
Yeah, and one packet of ramen, I think, is like a good 66% at least, depending on which one, So if you eat anything else, it's going to probably end up putting you over. And that's one thing I've been trying to cut, but I love my ramen noodles so much. Like I make chicken and put it on it, and it's like, this is still just bad.
I think it was Cameron Diaz. She actually was showing how she makes like at-home ramen.
Mm-hmm.
Like so one of the things that I caught. Well, no, she uses actually those same bags, the what is it called? The pre-made noodles.
Yeah.
But what she does is she doesn't use that whole pack. That's where like all the sodium and all the spices are, right?
Yeah.
So she starts putting in like fresh ingredients. So she'll chop up carrot, garlic, whatever, throw it in. In her case, I think she threw in eggs. And she was showing that she doesn't necessarily put all that packet in. She just puts like a very little bit. She needs it. She kind of flavors it on her own a little bit. It has her own like chili that she puts in. So it's like, I thought a pretty simple way and a healthier twist on it. So you're not getting all that sodium.
That's one of the things I started actually doing too, is like, instead of eating the ramen as like a soup, I will drain the noodles, and then I usually end up still doing about half a packet, which is probably still too much, but I've been cutting it, hoping that at least I've been cheating like that too. So I'm like, oh, good. Maybe it's not as bad as I've been thinking I've been doing. But then, I like do a stir fry with it on top of it.
Oh no, definitely. And especially if you get used to it now at half a pack, maybe later on you'll be like, oh, this is too much, baby. I'll start
Fourth
using
or
1/4 a
third.
pack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'll just start developing better habits that way. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely a good tip right there.
Awesome. And one of the things I do too, I don't know if you do the same thing. I've been trying to substitute sodium with like lemon. Lemon juice helps me a lot depending on what I'm eating. And I feel like it's been helping me a lot, not eating as much sodium.
No, I do definitely love lemon juice.
I love lemons.
What
Like
else?
lemon
They
chicken
also
is really
have,
good.
what is that
Go.
called? Like Dash, Mrs. Dash. If you go to
Mm-hmm.
the store, that's supposed to have like less salt. So that's kind of like another salt alternative. I know they can be kind of pricey. So I think lemon and other stuff would be definitely a better
Or
take.
like the minced garlic. Like I like putting minced garlic in food
Oh
sometimes, and
yeah.
sometimes I don't know exactly. I don't think it's as sodium based, but I know it's fairly acidic, I think. So
Yeah,
it kind of
I
gives me
don't
that
know how
flavor
much.
a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much sodium is in garlic, but I kind of feel like, especially if you're doing it fresh, like mincing it yourself, you're gonna have
Hmm.
a better outcome anyways, especially just like because it's gonna be all natural. So it's already what's in there opposed to adding more to it. So I just always feel that's
Yeah,
always better.
for sure. Nice. I like your tip of the week or your info of the week.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
So I know that you were a little bit sick this week. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure.
Share
So
your journey?
the first week that we started, it was really exciting because I was able to do a lot more exercise than I had been recently, and I was super amped up. And about after we ended up recording our first show, I ended up coming down with something. I don't think it hasn't been COVID, but it's definitely, I think you mentioned RSV has been going around, and all the kids got it. The house has been like just down and sick, and so it's really hard to try to keep up with these routines and even my eating habits. It's like one good thing is I haven't been as hungry, but that's not a healthy way to be losing weight. So I've been
The
trying to
dream
keep up
diet.
with like, yeah, exactly. I've been trying to do my smoothies a lot more. I'll have a smoothie recipe up for Halloween, so that'll be fun. But like in general, at least getting in a smoothie, I've been trying to do more like, my lean meats and like greens and things like that. But even getting the videos of these things has been really hard because my energy has been low and I haven't been working out. I know you posted a video the other day. It's like, suggested not to do that and overdo it on your system. But I think I did go on one walk the whole time and probably try to do a few crunches here and there, but pretty much my week was shot. So I'm gonna have to like really hit it hard this week. I'm feeling a lot better. Kids are getting better. So that's why I've been MIA, and hopefully we'll see more out of me this week and I'll do better.
No, definitely. I do support the not pushing yourself. That's never a good idea. Your body needs time to recover. I mean, we may not like that, but unfortunately, we do have to listen to our bodies and what it's telling us. So if it's like no, we have to listen to that no,
All right.
right? You're like, oh, come on, just a little bit more.
I know, right?
You're like, I can do this. Your body's like, nope.
Nope. Lay down. Lay down now.
No, that's true. I feel like that's when a lot of injuries happen too. Like sometimes because we really are so goal oriented
Hmm.
that we really try to over push ourselves. And then that's when an injury happens because you're like so fatigued already. You're like, okay, just one more set. I'm just going to do this because I'm so excited. Like we all do that. It's definitely something that
Yeah.
happens because you're like so excited.
Yep.
But
All right,
we
one
also need to
second. I'm
be
gonna have to
healthy.
pause for a quick second for a snot nose. Oh gosh. You okay?
Oh
Oh no. Okay, hold on. This is one of those moments we'll have to chop out, maybe, maybe not.
no.
One of the
Well,
sicky
I think
babies just came.
also, how do I say that? Displays the lifestyle of a mom. It's just the truth. Your kids are always going to come first. They're going to need your
Yep.
attention.
It's like mama's recording, but nope, it's just like your body telling you when you're sick. The kids are like, I'm sick, you gotta stop right now.
So, what I was going to show is, oops, if it wants to clear it or not, or is this going to go with? This is my favorite tea ever. For
Ooh.
me, oops, okay, I'll do it this way.
Ginger's really
Um,
good and holistic, right?
Yes. And I feel like whenever I do this ginger honey crystal tea, um, it always helps me not get as sick. Like the second I start getting a sore throat or anything that I do, this really seems like advertisement. I'm like,
I know, right? It's a
I
good one
love
though.
this tea. But with that said, one thing that I discovered, honey is not vegan.
Oh,
So, because I was talking actually to
no.
another person, and she brought up that honey is considered not vegan. So that's
Oh, I
kind
know
of one
why.
of those,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But so that was kind of one of the arguments. I still have this, 'cause I bought this in bulk, so I just kind of have been bad and not gotten rid of it. But it's also my
Hmm.
favorite tea, so I'm kind of
You're like
trying to figure out,
torn.
right? No, I'm trying to figure out where I stand on that stance, because I understand that we shouldn't, or actually, I agree with that we shouldn't torture or harm any animals. But as far as the argument that got brought up to me for the honey, sometimes they actually save the bees because that's what they do. And if they don't try to like help them relocate and put them in certain homes, then sometimes they end up, how do I say it? Their environment will get destroyed, and then that can
Oh,
help hinder and harm them and kill them. And then
okay.
there was
So this
another
helps them
argument.
anyways.
Yeah, and then there was another argument that I guess to transport avocados that they use something with bees. So then that
Okay.
was an argument that avocados weren't vegan. So I feel like
Oh.
those are gray areas because
Uh-huh.
avocados are to me vegan.
Uh-huh.
Um, I mean, I have an avocado tree in my backyard, so I'm fine. But
Yours are vegan for sure.
but that's why I was kind of like, oh, honey is such like to me a gray area. I get that you're not supposed to ever have it in anything. And typically, actually, honestly, I do normally try to use agave instead of the honey.
Okay. Okay.
But I just thought that that was an interesting little tip because I do love that ginger honey
It's like
crystal
your
tea.
favorite go-to, and you're not really supposed to have it in the lifestyle. That's
Yeah, and so then
crazy.
I've been doing more research on this too. So some of the products that I use, like the
Hmm.
blessed protein powder,
Hmm.
it's plant-based and it's advertised as plant-based. And even certain vegans, like Nicole Jade, she used to be in a Playboy and she was
Okay.
on Holly's World.
Okay.
Anyway, so she
I think I know who you're talking
uses
about.
um the plant-based blessed protein powder, but it's kind of crazy because when I started looking it up, it says vegan friendly. So I thought, well, what does that mean, vegan friendly? So they
Hmm.
cannot claim to be vegan because their equipment also processes like the whey protein. So it's not just vegan protein.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So even if they're using two separate machinery, because it's in the same facility, they cannot be vegan. It has to be
Oh.
only like the whole facility would have to be completely vegan friendly for it to be deemed vegan.
That's kind of like the, items that will say like it's free of something, but also processed in a plant that has nuts or seafood, things like that, basically.
Yeah, and I didn't realize I was like, oh, wait, so this really isn't considered vegan. So then I was kind of like, oh, so ethically, am I allowed to use this
Oh,
product?
oh
Like, 'cause I
no.
know the support is almost like completely political too. You're supposed to support what your belief is. So if a company serves other than vegan food, are you
Hmm.
supposed to frequent there?
Oh, that makes sense. Because then you're still
So then,
supporting a company that doesn't support being vegan. That makes
correct.
sense.
But then where
Oh.
am I going to get my vegan protein to make my shakes? No. There's a couple other companies out there that I found that are able to say vegan,
Uh-huh.
but I saw that they also make whey protein. So I was kind of like, wait, do they have two separate facilities then? But they're able to use that vegan symbol saying that it is solely vegan. So how
Uh-huh.
I don't know that much about it yet. So
Hmm.
I'll let you guys know as I discover this as we
I have
go
to
along.
research this.
I know, so it's just interesting because I was like, oh, so then what do I do with that? If anybody knows, please let me know
Let
or
us
send me some
know.
tips because I really don't know.
Put it in the
Um,
comments.
oh, definitely. Oh, I almost forgot. Since I mentioned her, Jaden Nicole, she also runs Sugar Taco, which is a vegan taco place in LA.
Oh, in LA, cool. I might have
Yeah,
to try that
just since I
sometime.
mentioned her.
Yeah. Very cool.
Advertisement for free. No.
Well, speaking of advertisement too, thank you guys who are watching and even continuing to watch this far into our videos. If you would like to keep seeing more from us, make sure you like the videos and subscribe. We're starting out small, but we'd love to grow this as like a community so we can give people information again on our two different lifestyles. Again, Olivia is vegan and I'm an omnivore, and it's just fun to have people on the journey with us so we can share information with you and also get information from everybody else too.
Exactly. I'm a ditto.
Anyway. Anyways, on to the next topic.
So, what would that be? So, as far as diet goes, do you think that you've changed anything about your diet goals for this week, or?
I did meet the one diet goal. I was really, really good about not stealing my kids' snacks constantly. I did it once or twice, but like not like every single time I make them a plate of something, I'm like, ooh, I can nibble on that, or ooh, I could have some of that too. Like I was really good about it about 95% of the time. So I'm proud of myself for that. Um, let's see, besides that, I ate a lot less of the carby items throughout the week. I did try to eat more green, more veggies, more like apples, snacking on apples, things like that. Like, so I did adjust quite a bit. The other thing is I'm really terrible generally about drinking water. But this week I was super good, even though I was sick and not wanting to really intake anything. I wanted to make sure to keep up on my water in general, but make it more of a habit. I I don't like drinking plain water. It's terrible. But like lately I've been doing like flavor packets, the non-sugar kinds, and just like putting it in my water wherever the heck I can get to give it some flavor. So it helps me, and hopefully I can wean off of that and just have regular water. But for now I'm doing at least better about that.
You know what? That was the only way I was able to get my mom to drink water. She's
Yeah.
like, oh, if I had a water bottle, I'd show you. So, okay, so
Mm-hmm.
say like your bottle's like this big. She would
Yeah.
drink like this much out of it in like a
Yep.
day. And I'd be
Yep.
like, what? I would go through like, 10 of these. And she's like, I'm like, what? And then she's like, oh, well, I drink coffee. Coffee's made from water.
It doesn't count. I say the same
It
thing. It doesn't
dehydrates
count.
you.
So is soda. So is like juice with all the added sugar. Like it's really hard, but yeah, that was one of the big changes I tried to make this week.
I feel like even my aunt has gotten kidney issues or kidney infections because I feel
Yep.
she drank more soda than water, which I think now she probably drinks more water. But
Yeah.
and I kind of see that more on my mom too. She tends to not drink as much water, so I
Mm-hmm.
had to find, and which she only loves the strawberry flavor, so I had to get like the Crystal Light strawberry or even the IV hydration packets that have
Mm-hmm.
strawberry. Although that
Yep.
has a lot of sodium too, by the way. Anyways, but yeah, so she's been doing better at that. So I was really proud of that. This week I did
Awesome.
not do good myself. In fact, I ended up
Uh-oh.
with a leg cramp and I was like,
Oh
oh,
no.
I'm dying.
Oh
And then I was
no.
like, but I had actually been aware before that happened. I started noticing, I was like, oh, I didn't finish my water for the day. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just because, when you get so busy and you're so focused, you intend
Yep.
to neglect yourself. And then
Yep.
I was like, oh, well, okay, at least I still have enough time to drink water. And then, nope, leg cramp hit. And I was down and I was like, I'm in pain. This is what
Oh
I
no.
deserve for not drinking
Oh
my water.
no.
My normal hydrated body was like, what is going on here?
What are you doing to me? Oh hi.
Right? So we don't like this. This is a myth.
Oh no. We have more snacks. Oh no. Hold on. I should have brought tissue in here. Oh no.
He's so cute. Oh no.
Oh
I like that. He's
no.
like,
I know.
no.
He's being a little melodramatic, but at least he's being
I'm
cute.
gonna get like a
Okay,
sound
good
clip
job.
bar of
Bye.
him with different
Oh
little,
no.
oh no.
Oh
That would be so
no.
fun.
Uh,
Oh. And now he's all happy. He's like, I'm
I know,
taking
right? I
over.
want to
I
be
am the host for
famous.
the day.
I know, right? Give me a kiss. Mwah. Mwah. Thank you. Go sit down, okay? Bye. Bye. You're not giving me a bye, fine, whatever. He's like, you kicked me out of my moment, man, in the limelight, mom.
No, he's such like a happy soul. I love him because he's
I
always just
know.
Bella.
It's my handy. Even when he's sick and dying, he's like,
I'm like, "Urgh."
I know, right?
I'm like the Hulk or She-Hulk, whatever. Probably more like the Hulk. 'Cause I feel like the She-Hulk had more class at that point, at least the new series. But
Mm.
yeah, no, I would have definitely been Banner all the way of the aggression, the lash out, then eventually learning to
Hulk
control your temper.
smash. Oh my god.
Hulk smash.
Hulk smash. Leave me alone. Oh god, it's back. Yes. Oh, he knows that there's a camera now. It's all over.
He's like, oh, now I get the
Is
attention.
this for me?
That's so fun.
Thank you. Well, no, you just killed my diet.
Ha ha. No, I'm just kidding. So
He
we
did
saw
it
her
on
cheek
purpose.
right there after being good
It's
the
like
whole
right
week.
there. All right, bye. Thank you.
Well, that
Spits
was
it
a
out on the
must.
side.
He
I'm
would have been
sorry.
upset if you refused his gift. It's
Oh,
actually
it's such a
very
kind
rude.
gesture. He doesn't usually share his snacks. Honey,
Culturally, refusing gifts is rude. No, I'm just kidding.
I agree. Here. You have a kiss?
Wait,
Mwah.
which culture was it? You're supposed to say no
Hi.
3 times and then you accept it on the fourth? I feel like I heard that
Really?
somewhere.
Like,
Yeah, I
oh, I
forgot.
don't know.
No, like I feel like I would have failed that because I'm all no, thank you. And then it's like you're supposed to offer it again, and you're all, I already offered it. What?
Cracker's trying to kill me now.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God, I should have said no. I should have said no, 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 no. He'd probably just shove it in my face.
That's funny. He's like, take that. No.
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to think. I don't remember what my diet goals were that I said last week. I'm not gonna lie.
I think you had. Weren't you gonna try to cut coffee or something like that? As one of them, or was that
I
like an eventual
failed.
thing? I don't know. Oh,
I think you were right, but no, that was a failure.
I think that
No,
was one of them. I don't remember.
no, so the day that I didn't drink coffee, luckily I still woke up early because I knew it was gonna take me more time to wake up. I drove past my exit and I was like going, and then finally I was like, this doesn't look familiar. Why the heck? Oh,
Oh
so
God,
then I was like, let me have my coffee, and then I was back to
it
normal
was all over.
functioning. But yeah, I was
Yeah.
all, where am I? You end up a whole different town,
Mm-hmm.
different state. You're all, this isn't
Well, no,
right.
like it's so hard to cut coffee because I kind of wanted to do the same thing, and every single time I do, about a day and a half, 2 days in, I get like the worst headache ever. So, and I don't drink a lot of coffee. I do like maybe a cup a day, sometimes two, but it's like very essential to my life. But
Well,
if I
we have
cut
three
it,
coffee pots here in this house. There's three.
is it like it's like one for each of you? I mean, like
Well,
this is my pot. You're
so
like, no,
my
all
dad
there's
drinks
two are yours. So.
my dad drinks like a pot of coffee a day. And actually, it's so funny because I'm the one harping on him. I'm like, this is why you have hypertension. Your blood pressure is elevated because of the caffeine intake. A
Yeah.
pot of coffee a day is not correct. You need to just drink water. He drinks a lot of water too, but he drinks a lot of coffee. He's
Mm-hmm.
like that type, he's so used to it now that he drinks it and goes to sleep. It
Okay.
doesn't affect him to be awake or not with coffee. It's just what his go-to
I'm gonna
drink is
sit
either
down
water
like
or
10 at
coffee.
once or something. Like,
Like he doesn't drink soda. He doesn't drink anything else. It's just he doesn't even drink alcohol. It's just water and coffee. Water
is
and
it
coffee.
the flavor of the coffee?
I don't
Like if
even
he
know
were to maybe
anymore.
try like to decaf some of it, if it doesn't really matter anyways.
I try to tell him to drink decaf, and it's like he just
Yeah.
doesn't. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Um, so the first one's like his. It's the jet fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I always joke like the Keurig is more mine because it's just real quick on the go.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's still not strong enough, and I have to like pour a little bit of the jet fuel into it.
Yeah.
And then my mom cannot have caffeine. It makes her too jittery. She's like anxious and like she can't control herself.
Mm-hmm.
I call her the Energizer Bunny. She's all, pew, pew,
It's
pew,
like
and
bing,
you're
bing,
like,
bing, bing, bing.
oh my
There
gosh,
she went
mom.
again. Oh.
No, it's like she's literally just can't sit down if she drinks coffee. She's so up and like, I don't know. She's like 1 minute cleaning, next minute painting, and then like, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
reupholstering something. You're like, from a cup of
Like,
coffee?
calm
Like,
down. It's
wow.
okay.
Like
She
someone
had her
give her some
coffee again.
Ativan. No, that's it. You could tell if she accidentally drank coffee or not, or I should say the caffeinated coffee. So her
Yeah.
pot is the decaf.
Okay.
So I was like, maybe you should not even have decaf. But no, she likes the flavor, so that's why she does the decaf.
Yeah.
I needed to start trying to trick myself and drink the decaf and be like, oh no, this is
I'm
caffeinated
still
and
getting
see if
my
that
coffee.
helps. It
Yeah.
probably wouldn't. I even tried doing the matcha lattes. Maybe I'll try doing that again and see if it sticks.
Yeah, I actually like it a lot. I've tried doing that a couple of times and I really like the matcha. It's not as much energy, but it gives me that enough of that boost and it's a little better for you, isn't it? I mean, it's still caffeine, but
Yeah, I think green tea is also correlated with weight loss. So maybe
mm-hmm.
doing matcha would be better for that too. And as long as it wakes me up enough where I don't drive past my exit, I
Mm-hmm.
would be great.
Awesome.
Wake up in the next city.
You're like in the next state. Like,
Right. Where
oh, wasn't
am
I
I?
supposed to go somewhere today? Where am I?
And you're like, wait, where am I going?
I call you like I don't even know who I am or where I am anymore.
We go to that emotional distress if I
You're
was
like
left
you
that long without
finally cut your
caffeine.
coffee.
Right? Like, I don't know anything anymore. Everything I ever knew, I'm questioning. No. Uh, like from coffee. Yeah. Um, so I know that we didn't really get a chance to talk about it, but or I should say last week we didn't talk about it. But what do you feel like you do for your me time? Because I think that's also important for like our self health
Yeah,
and
me
health,
time. Well,
mental health, whatever.
yeah, it's definitely like obviously having 1,000 kids, it's harder to find me time, but I've been trying really hard lately to find me time. I've been trying to read more. So sometimes I'll pull out like a book that I have laying around that I've probably already read a couple of times and just read. Um, I do like to read like comic books and manga still. Like I'll read those sometimes. That's my nerdy thing I like to do.
I do
Um,
too.
right? I've been trying to draw more again lately. But and just like listening to music, just like sitting in the backyard, maybe looking at the mountains, listening to music for a little bit with my cup of coffee I'm not supposed to have. I've been doing that a little bit more lately too. So that's my me time, pretty much.
I just
What
feel like
about
my
you?
me time is being with my dogs. Like, I don't know how to
Mm-hmm.
explain it. If I don't have that, it really, really brings me down. I get
Mm-hmm.
so distressed and more like I'm like edgy, I feel like I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it. And so then like when I get in my environment, I have my dogs and whatnot. And we like whether it's like you're cuddling and you're playing with them and petting their belly, or
Mm-hmm.
even taking them on walks. I love taking them on walks because they get so excited and they're so good. Um, they're not good inside. No, I'm just kidding.
I know, right?
And they're definitely not good when you go to like let them out. Like, you know, you open up the sliding door, they're all like they announce, we're free. And then you're like, oh
She let
God,
us
these
out.
neighbors probably hate you guys. Like,
Oh dear
bring it
God.
down a notch. And then you hear, because they're playing. And then, but you put it like their harness on and you take them for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they might still do that little announcement of, we're free. But then, like, when you're walking, they're like, yeah. And they walk in their little order and they have to be side by side.
Oh
So
my
it's cute.
gosh.
But no, seriously,
It's
like
adorable.
I don't know how to explain it. They have to be side by side. There's a specific order. If one kind of like gets out of place, they kind of like little fumbled, and all of a sudden they end up back in their order again. And they're like, dee, 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 dee. I'm like, there you go.
It's
Like, you guys already know what
like they
you're
want to
doing.
show to the world how cute they are, so they've got to be proper.
Those little divas. No, I'm just kidding.
They like do that at home.
Definitely. I feel like I used to be more of a reader, but now I'm like, I read too much in
Mhm.
school. So I'm kind of like, my reading is now saved for important items, and then I just want to shut my brain off. So it's definitely
Yeah.
more like Marvel TV. I'm
Uh,
a Marvel fan.
nice. I like that stuff
Oh,
too. I just never have time to watch TV.
what do you think of the new Daredevil versus the, well, I guess he's not the original Daredevil. I call it our Daredevil era because we're elder millennials. So elder millennials have Ben Affleck as the Daredevil. The new millennials, or whatever you call them, the younger ones, they have, oh, I don't remember his name now. See, that shows you how much I know about
Is
it.
it the one you sent me the pictures of?
Oh yeah, I was sending you a picture showing his physique because I was like, oh, I've never paid attention to Daredevil before. And I was like, and I do have to admit, it's just like, you know, when they said that's America's ass in, you know, Avengers or the Endgame,
Uh-huh.
or I guess we have to bleep that out, but you know, uh
We can say ass on YouTube. I think it'll be okay.
so I was kind of like, oh, I like this actor solely for the fact that he has a booty when he's fighting. You can see it and it looks nice. I was like, good job.
He's been
Filled those
training
blueprints.
well.
He
He
was
takes
good.
care of
I know. I was
himself.
like, oh, he is in shape.
Yeah. Well, I guess back to the question, like I actually didn't know a new one was coming out until you told me. So is it already out? Because I haven't seen it.
Out. Apparently, we're that outdated.
I know,
So it
right?
was on Netflix initially, and
Okay.
then I guess they joined the Defenders, and then now they got bought by Disney, and they're coming out with Daredevil Reborn now.
Okay.
So he's coming back in a new series, and the Punisher, who actually at first I wasn't sure if I was gonna like, and I was like, oh, we were watching the Netflix series, so I was kind of like, oh, I like him too a little bit.
Oh,
But yeah, so I thought that was interesting, and I heard a rumor that the
interesting.
Punisher is supposed to be coming back in the Daredevil Reborn. And actually, I looked it up right
Nice.
now, so the actor's name is Charlie Cox.
Okay, got it. Yeah,
So
I'll have
Ben
to take
Affleck
a
or
look
Charlie
at
Cox.
it. Um, because when you sent me the pictures of his physique, I thought that you were saying that was the Ben Affleck. And I was like, Ben Affleck was looking real good. Like, I like Ben Affleck. And so
Right?
until you told
Oh,
me, showed me the front, I was like, oh, it's not Ben Affleck.
I know.
I'll have to
I was kind
see.
of like, huh. And then I was like, oh, all right. I'm like, well, I don't hate you.
Well, for
You can
studying
stay for now.
purposes of human health and wellness, we'll have to watch it just for those reasons.
Right? You're all, ooh. Yeah. Yeah, I just thought that was interesting. I was like, oh, it's so funny how even though it's supposed to be the same, what is that era? Old millennial, elder millennial, whatever the titles are, and then
Yeah,
young
yeah.
millennial, and you have two different aspects already. It's like the same
Mm-hmm.
thing with Spider-Man, Tobey
Mm-hmm.
Maguire, and then Tom Holland.
With the new book release from Matthew Perry, it's not out, I think, until the 1st, but they've been showing little excerpts of the book, and it's just really interesting to see how somebody in the limelight, you know, that looks like they're just probably living the greatest life, went through so many struggles with, you know, mental health and wellness and things like that. So some of the blurbs he's put out, I kind of want to see if I can get the book and then maybe talk about it a little bit, because so far it, you know, it hits some triggers where, you know, sometimes we feel like someone could look in on our lives and think that everything is great, but it's not. And so it's really important to keep, you know, the support system, like I think we have with each other, and like, you know, not fall into those pits. But I think that's a read I'm gonna try to look into
I'm
myself.
gonna have to make time to read it now.
Yeah, it looks really interesting, but it's very sad but very enlightening, and I think it's really cool too.
How do I say it? So I think that is a very important thing for people to realize. I know like some people on their Instagram or even Facebook are very much like it's all fake and superficial where everything's always perfect.
Mm-hmm.
They strive very hard to ensure everything is 100% perfect. That's kind of one of the reasons why half my posts I didn't even have makeup on when I'm trying to encourage like
Mm-hmm.
fitness and health. I'm not trying to be a fake image of this is the reality. But with that said too, I don't necessarily like airing your dirty laundry outside. Like I
Yeah.
don't go I like when I was younger and Facebook was a thing like you could put sad or happy or
Yeah.
pissed or what, like, who cares? Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't,
like people don't want to see that either, but
right?
I
You
think
know, like, come on.
sometimes bringing it like with what we're doing, we can maybe discuss a little bit more, you know, in its own
Yeah.
space. Not like when we're working, like, oh my God, guys, I had the worst day ever, and here's my
Yeah,
workout.
I'm not
Like,
going to
you
be
know,
throwing a
I
tantrum.
know, right?
Again, I'm not going to show you guys me hulking out and throwing stuff. But definitely, I think in hindsight, when somebody does that, where they'd write like a tell all, so even Jessica Simpson did one of those too, and I read that one, open book. I think it's very interesting, and you do have to give that person a lot of credit because it's very hard
Mm-hmm.
to show such a negative side because you don't know how it's really
Mm-hmm.
going to be taken. Are you going to
Yep.
be judged for it? Some people will. Are people going to appreciate the story? Is it going to help them grow better? Then yeah, some people will too. It just
Yeah.
depends. You have to be ready for both feedback for sure.
Exactly. Yep.
I
Yep. Yep.
thought,
Yep.
what was
So
it?
true.
The story I heard with him too this week was that I guess one of those little snippets, it was Valerie Bertinelli
Mm-hmm.
was upset about because he talked about I guess he was making out with her when Eddie Van Halen was
Yes.
passed out,
Yes.
and I felt
And she was
so
still married to him, right?
yeah. I mean, you also have to look at the era when it was, and then plus rock stars are is there drinking, is there drugs involved, what was the situation?
Yeah, you
I
never
mean, we can't
know.
hide that, and especially if you choose to be in the public eye. The unfortunate thing is
Mm-hmm.
you can't really hide those things. Those
Yeah.
things do happen.
Yeah.
Is it unfortunate? Yeah.
It
It's sad that it's
sucks.
out now.
Yeah.
I know.
I
What
wonder
was it?
those two sometimes. I think a lot of you know, the people like movie stars that come out and write these books, I feel like generally they do try to reach out to the people they talk about and hopefully get the okay to say stuff like that. You know, I'm sure there's some where they obviously don't or can't, or they want to tell their story and
Well,
they don't
there's also a
care.
legal issue
But
too. Like some people, they have to make sure that they're using like a false name, and then other people,
mhm,
if they can figure out who it is and prove who it is,
mhm.
you legally have to use their name.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember who was it? I think it was Holly Madison was talking about that for her book because there were certain people that
Mhm.
she didn't want to list the names for, and that the publisher came back that legally she had to for whatever the reason was. And I was
Crazy.
like, oh, thank goodness I'm not famous and I don't have to deal with any of
And then you gotta get
that.
sued for telling your story, and you know.
Well, even Paris Hilton, how do I say it? So she was talking about in her podcast about how she feels so sorry for people nowadays because it's not the same. You don't have that same party aspect. You don't have that same freedom. It's not the same as it was in the past. Like in the past, you
Mm-hmm.
were able to have fun, cut loose, and be silly,
Hmm.
and you'd have a bad night. You can have a great night, but no matter what, it was never caught on camera. Now
Yeah.
everybody's out with their phones and they're recording, and it's on Insta,
Yeah.
it's on Facebook, it's on
Instantly,
Twitter.
even before you may even know it. Like I think Khloe
Yeah,
Kardashian was talking recently or was on the show where it came out, the first wedding night that she and Travis Barker had in Vegas. Basically, she ended up blacking out and not remembering most of it. And I guess when they were going back to their hotel room, she ended up starting stripping and being naked in the lobby or whatever. And people, like, I guess, got pictures of it or something, but she doesn't even remember it. So it's like, you know, that instant, if it's in public, well, now I can start posting these things because you did that stuff in
right.
public. Like there's not as much
Yeah,
protection.
especially if that's not normally her character. Like,
Hmm.
and I
And
think
so it was an
it's
off
Courtney, I think,
night,
that did that. Yeah,
because
it's
she's
like that's
partying for her wedding, that.
yeah, no, and that's the like a perfect example right there. You're kind of like, yeah, well, before you used to be able to do things, and now you can't do certain things
Hmm.
because it will always be on the internet now. It will
Yep.
always somehow come back to get you. So I
Yep.
think people have to be more conscious of their choices nowadays.
Hmm.
But also, if you're gonna do something, you have to be willing to back it up no matter what and be like,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm gonna accept responsibility. That was messed up, or I support my decision, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
kind of
Whatever
sucks.
stance it is. Yep,
But,
for sure.
yeah. So, what do you think your goals are going to be for next week, or I guess
Well,
this
yeah,
coming
that
week?
one that I failed on, getting that total gym out that I didn't do, that's definitely my goal. So I think I want to try to, I know you sent me a couple of workout ideas. I want to start trying to like find some online workout ideas and see how I can incorporate it at home and actually do them and see how it makes me feel and if it helps me lose a little bit more weight. Um, I I think we talked about this briefly before we started recording, but what did I got down to 182.8 I think this week. So I lost a little more, like about a pound and a half from the week before. But since I was not active, I felt like I could have pushed that further again. So, and what was your total again this week?
So, what was it? So, I looked it up. I probably should have converted this. I think it was like 199.9. So almost
Mm-hmm.
200 pounds. So initially when I first, oh yeah, it is. I did write that down.
Mm-hmm.
199.98. So yeah, more or less 200 pounds.
Two. Mm-hmm.
And so then when we officially started trying to track it, then I was 195.4. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have as much weight loss. I am just down to 192.28.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys are wondering where I'm getting my exact numbers, I use kilograms when I weigh myself. That's just out of habit, also because I everything I do at work is like that. So I always have to go and convert it. So if you don't know how to convert it, it's like there's 2.2 pounds per kilogram.
Got it.
So yeah, I was excited that at least I came down still, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not as much because again this week I wasn't doing I guess the best. I just got a little too busy. I didn't keep track of the water. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
do all of what I needed.
Well, you've got a half a
Um,
pound on me. So as far as the total weight loss, I think, I was 203 a few months back and I've been trying really hard to lose the weight. And then when we started, I was like 185.6. So your total weight loss is more than me, but you've been putting in that work. And then you're also technically doing a lot more, possibly like muscle building, I think was what you're doing, right? So that
Yeah,
kind
I'm
of
doing like
balances
HIIT
out a
workout and
bit.
I'm trying to incorporate weights for sure because
So having like
how do I
any
say it?
deficit while still building muscle technically is still good, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then that's the thing too. I feel like when you are trying to build muscles and do weights, that you
Hmm.
actually end up burning more calories long term. So
Nice.
that's one of the things that people have to consider. If all you do is cardio, then
Hmm.
that's not like you're only burning the calories while you're doing that workout. So that calorie burn is really only significant for that 30 or 60 minutes that you're doing. Whereas if you
Got
do
it.
a weight-based exercise, it's going to be burning hours after that. And then
Nice.
you're sore later too, like I am. So, anyways.
That's good. That means it's
So,
working.
so
So,
I guess I would try to don't know if I'm going to try to do some of the matcha, see how that works. But
hmm
I'm definitely going to try to go back to because I didn't close all my rings this week because one of the days I just took my watch off because I didn't want to be connected to the world. I was like, I need some peace.
Yep.
So
it's part of that mental health thing. So it's like, go away.
But yeah, so I'm gonna try to close my rings again then next week.
Nice.
So that way I feel like better when you get like that little check off. Actually, back to friends, you know, Monica, I'm a little bit like Monica, a little OCD. I want that little check. Like even if there's no real reward or award, you know, award that pops up, I just want the check.
Yep. Yep.
Complete.
Yes. Yep. Yay.
So,
awesome.
So what well, I guess we'll just talk about what we're gonna display next week then, or
what we're going to,
or how do we do that? So for wrapping up, do we know what topics that we're gonna kind of like
go
over next week, or is it like I guess we'll just post about it? That I forgot to ask you. I don't know how we do that.
Let's post about it, and then in the future we'll be better about like saying, hey guys, you know, when you come back next week, we'll let you know what we plan on. So again, we're kind of like starting all this from scratch and we're learning as we go, but we'll keep everybody more informed on what you can expect.
Yeah, and then also if there is anything that anybody wants to know, I think we already said that in the middle of the video, but just to kind of like remind everybody, if you have questions, comments, or you have ways and tips to help, even like research certain products, like how I was bringing up the vegan or vegan friendly products, and any comments are always welcome, or suggestions, and we can try to go into that on our next podcast as well. So any questions are welcome.
Awesome. Well, this was fun. I enjoyed doing this episode.
Woohoo, me too.
There are victory dance. They're like exits. As I'm still dying. It's all trying to come out now at the end.
Yeah. Well, let's see me get this far. I'm just kidding.
I know.
Okay.
Bye.